In this video, we're at the coast, checking out some of the different creatures that live on the beach and in the rock pools. Then we harvest some of my favourite seaweed, pick some mussels, and I managed to gather some razor clams for the first time ever. The next day we have a fire and cook up all the delicious wild food. I'm Ali and this is Lana, and we're just heading down to a new part of the coast to do a bit of foraging. We're just waiting on the tide to go out a little bit further at the beach, so I thought we'd come and do a little bit of looking about in the rock pools. Loads of Winkles here. I've not eaten those for years, but I used to eat them all the time when I was camping. I didn't take any of these Winkles, but I did gather a few from another spot later in the video. In a nearby rock pool, we found quite a big dahlia anemone and a little common starfish tucked into the corner. It's an urchin under there. It's just a common urchin, or an edible urchin. I've never tried one, and I don't really plan on doing it because they do look a bit gross. And I actually think it's the gonads is the part that you eat. Cool creature though, I'll pop them back. I just seen a little baby pollock. I think it was a pollock, it might be a coalfish. Just swimming out there. I tried to film the little fish underwater, but I didn't catch it. I did spot another urchin though. You can see the little hydraulic tubes on this one. That's what it breathes through, and it helps it stick to the bottom and move around the rocks. That's sea lettuce, but it's so tiny it's not even worth taking. I was hoping I was going to find some bigger bits, and that's really the only seaweed that I like. All the seaweeds are technically edible, but there's only a couple that actually taste good, and that's what I think is the best. After looking around the rock pools, we headed down to the beach to try and find some cockles or clams. In a pool between some rocks on the beach, there were some little beadlet anemones. We checked the whole beach, but we didn't find any cockles or any signs of razor clams. So the next day we headed to another much more productive beach. Well, we've just been here 5 minutes and we've already found much more than yesterday. There's some mussels, some nice sized ones on these rocks. I've not eaten these for years, so I'm going to take some because they are pretty tasty. I would never eat a snail, a normal snail, but because they're in the sea, it doesn't feel like eating a bug. It's just another shellfish. These little red blobs are beadlet anemones that have closed up since the water's dropped. The same type we seen yesterday at the beach. There's a wee common starfish doing some rock climbing. And a bigger one tucked in this hole. There was more tiny pieces of sea lettuce here, but again it was far too small to bother taking. I grabbed another couple of winkles, then headed down to the low tide mark to start salting some razor clam burrows. I've never been able to get razor clams before, so even if we get one, I'm going to be delighted. I mean, I'm not even 100% sure I'm putting the salt on the right holes. I've seen one come flying out there. Absolute beauty. I was further down the beach there when that one came flying out. Brilliant. It's the first ever one I've got. And that took a long time for it to actually come up. So these other ones might actually stand a chance. But we've got one absolute massive one. So even if that's all we get, I'll be pretty happy. I saw a little squirt coming from this salted hole, and I managed to film it popping up. It might have came right out by itself, but when it dipped back down a little bit, I just grabbed it and dug around it to make sure it didn't get away. Woohoo! That's an absolute beauty as well. Let's find some hermit crabs. Another clam squirted water out this burrow, but after waiting a while it didn't pop up, so I decided to try and dig this one out. I knew there was one here, and I've managed to dig down. I've got a hold of it now, just slowly easing it out. I've had to dig almost my full arm down to catch it. But it's coming now. Almost. There we go. And that's full of water. It was almost my full arm to get it. That's all the sand that came out. Fill this hole back in. I managed to dig out another clam here as well. Got him! Nice! I found this weird creature, mostly buried. Just a little bit was poking out the sand. It looks like an urchin, but it's actually a sea mouse, a type of worm covered in bristles. I also found this little surf clam, but didn't take it, so I just buried it and headed back to the rocks to pick some mussels. We didn't need a lot of mussels, so I was only taking the biggest ones, and just one or two from each spot. Most of the mussels were covered in barnacles. It's best to scrape these off before cooking, as they can break down and make the mussels gritty, and they make the pot tougher to clean as well. All the mussels were a good size, but I was being selective and only taking the really big ones. I only needed a couple more, so I spent a bit of time finding the best ones around. I had about a dozen, plenty for a good meal, since we already had the Winkles and razor clams. I'm going to cook the Winkles first, as a little starter. And I've got some stuff with me to kind of spruce up the clams a bit more. I've got some chorizo and some chilli and garlic. Just 4 or 5 minutes you need to give them. One more minute and I think they'll be done. That's them. I'm looking forward to these. I've not had them for ages. I used to eat them all the time when I was camping, but I've kind of got out of the habit. I forgot to bring a toothpick, so I've just used a little splinter of wood. There's a little hard foot to take off. Tear away the dark bit at the end. And that's just good meat left. They've got a really meaty texture and just a mild salty flavour. I did bring this for the clams, but I'm going to put a little bit of garlic and a couple of chilies in the water for the mussels. And I've got some nice crusty bread this time to soak it all up at the end. Just waiting on the mussels to cook. I'm going to go and have a wee look down at the shore. There's there's loads of winkles here. I didn't need to take the ones from the other place. They were really good size ones we got though. Good seaweed. I might take some for frying up with the clams. Nice. We didn't find any good seaweed at the last couple of spots, so I'm glad there's some here and that I came down to check. Nice little bonus there. I'll just check on the mussels. Oh, smells good, looks good, should be good. Look at that. Cracking big mussel. How good does that look? Well, fire's pretty much done, so I've got a little gas stove that I brought as a backup, so I don't think that's going to last. That's just the last little bit of wood burning. Just going to use the lid from the other pot just to help cook them through. Just put the seaweed in for the last minute or two, just to warm it really. too hot. That's not bad. That looks good, and it smells even better. I'll try one of the feet first. Oh, that's amazing. It's the first time I've ever had these, and they are so good. Try some of the other parts now. A little bit chewier, but still pretty good. That's so good. They've got a bit of a sweetness to them. Oh, it goes so well with the garlic and the chilli. Chorizo. Well, everything goes well with chorizo. Oh man, that is one of the best things I've ever made outside. Not bad at all for being cooked on a windy beach, and it's always much more satisfying when you've caught or foraged the food yourself. I'm so glad I was finally able to get some razor clams after a few failed attempts. Those were some of the fattest mussels I've ever found too, and it was nice to eat some Winkles again. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed eating those razor clams. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Cheers!